screen to see whether or not Dr. Ellen P. has joined us. If not, we will continue on. Oh, I see her.
Hi there.
Hey, Laura.
Hi.
Good morning.
Good morning, everybody. All right. Well, I think we are about ready to get started. I was listening to the commencement conversation and thinking, oh, we're just gonna roll into the meeting here. But we'll talk a little bit about that in a little bit. We have a number of different announcements for you all today about as we move toward wrapping up the year. And then we do have a guest that's going to be joining us at 10:15. Missy Brunetta from our risk management is going to join us and talk a little bit about the plans for repopulating campus. And hopefully we'll have some time to ask questions about what she shares if we have them, and discuss you know, as much as we can during that time. And then we will move back into some additional announcements after that if we are not yet done by her time certain. So I'm going to turn it back over to Dr. Sawyer for some opening remarks.
Well, again, thank you, Dr. Ellen P. And you all, I just want to say welcome and a big thank you for this year. It has been a year that was more than 12 months. I think this year has been 14 months so far, or maybe 15 months. It continues to move on. What I am totally amazed with is the positiveness that you all have displayed through all of this, and the can-do attitude. In talking to colleagues throughout the state and throughout the nation, when I told folks that we were not going to be able to keep our culinary staff and that we would have to figure out how to feed our students, we did. That in itself was absolutely amazing. The fact is that our students who really needed our help, and I know so many of you are talking to students beyond 5 o'clock. Why? Because they need you and they've needed your support. I know some of you are talking to them before 8 o'clock because they need you and you've given that support. I love when I'm have the opportunity to be involved in some of our affinity programs and the celebrations at the end of the year, because each one of them, they normally have tears, but I'm seeing more tears this year than I've ever seen. And it's because of the connections. It's the heartfeltness. And, you know, I love the fact that having been in this field for 4 decades now, that never gets old. It never gets old watching your smiles when you've touched a student and listening to you as you choke up, listening to your students telling you thank you for all the good work that you have done. The work that we do, when it's fun and it's heartfelt, it is exhilarating to us, but it's also exhilarating to, we know that we've touched them and we've helped them to get through the hardest times in their life. A lot of our students have lost family members, they've lost friends. Many of you have lost family members and friends, and a lot of us are dealing with our fur family, and as those are also touching our hearts. So this has been a difficult time, and yet we persevered. And I just wanted to say thank you for just being you. You know, we're a resilient group of human beings. And you all know I've been all over the country doing this job, but there's a different group of folks up here. You guys are made like, you got like redwood bark or something that kind of protects, but you make it happen. And our students are excited, and you make them want to be part of this nation of Sonoma. You know, and those are the things that I find extremely exhilarating. So for me, thank you for being you. Thank you for taking care of our students. I wanted to make sure that as we have our last meeting here, at least for the spring semester, that I can tell you how much I appreciate you and the hard work you do, because y'all are one heck of a team. And I know that the students just love everything about you and all the things that you do for them. So I do hope that as we meet over the summer, that you take a little bit of a break, that you enjoy the time with your family, you enjoy time with friends, and hopefully you'll be able to do so, because we're really pushing hard for that yellow tier. I know that I am finally, I've got both of my vaccines are fully vaccinated. And on Sunday, I'll share this last piece that Sunday, my predecessor, Harry LeGrand, was here. And Harry LeGrand and his wife Denise are fully vaccinated. And so we all decided that we were going to go out to dinner. And it was so weird because like we didn't know what to do because we haven't touched other human beings in like 14, 15 months. And so they came to the door like we're frozen because we don't even know what to do. And we didn't know which we should touch or anything. But I will say to you that what a wonderful opportunity it was just to be with other humans, and maybe much like after 9/11, where we appreciated the touch and the thoughtfulness of another human being. I know that when we get a chance to see each other, we're going to embrace that same mentality. I know that I'm just enjoying seeing you all now, and I didn't think Zoom would ever bring that kind of feeling or emotion. So thank you all for all that you do. I just want you to know how much I appreciate you. And my clap for you. Thank you. Dr. LMP, I'm going to turn it back over to you.
All right. Well, we have some exciting announcements as we wrap up our year. Sue, do you want to go ahead and pull the PowerPoint up? We can get our most exciting visual. So, Doc, do you want to do this announcement?
Thanks, Dr. LMP. I would love to. You all, for the third year in a row, we are now most promising places to work. So we did a three-peat. That's right, Michael. We did a three-peat. So you all, that's another reason. Look at that. This year, there were only 30 universities in the United States to be recognized. And we are one of the 30 schools in the US to be recognized as most promising places to work in the nation. So I thank you all. I remember when I first came and Mo was sitting in the front row. And thanks, Mo. You gave me a lot of impetus. And I remember when we were having the conversation, I said, in 1 year, we're going to be one of the most promising places to work. And I don't know how we did it, but you all were amazing. And we actually got it in the first year. So, and yes, Mo, you still are in the front row. So anyway, you all, congratulations for doing a three-peat for most promising places to work in the United States. We did add one more school in the CSU, which is now Humboldt. So Humboldt State and SLO and Channel Islands. SLO, Channel Islands, and Sonoma have been, over the last 3 years, have been the 3 schools in the CSU. But pretty exciting when you look at the fact that now we have a 4th group, a 4th university, which is Humboldt. So thanks, LMP.
Yeah, I'm super excited. Congratulations to everybody for this recognition. I've been getting to share with folks across campus this recognition in various meetings over the last week. And I had, said that I think one of the, going back to Doc's remarks at the beginning of how resilient we all are, I think that in many of the spaces where we've had to make difficult decisions, the framework that is recognized by diverse has really been a guiding light for us. It's been a really very challenging year, but I am proud of how steadfast we've been in our values and in dedication to the things that are recognized through this recognition. So, when times get tough, that's when your values are tested. And so this is truly indicative of it, and I think can continue to be a guiding light for us in the years to come. So we'll go for 4 next year.
Yeah. And the article will be coming out, I believe, June 10th. And then the award actually will be given in 2022, where we can go pick it up.
Exciting stuff. Okay, Doc, do you want to give our bittersweet news as well?
I do, and I don't. So first of all, it is truly bittersweet, but I am making the announcement today that our colleague and friend, Jamie Zamian, will be leaving us. He will be the new assistant chancellor for the University of Wisconsin at River Falls. So you got to give the brother a hand because that's amazing. He will be responsible for the student affairs area there. And it's a brand new area. So one of the things that's so fun about this is that Jamie and I've been talking. Jamie gets to start his own division of student affairs. So it'll be fun for him to pull all that together. And he already told us that he said, Doc, you need to get ready because I'm gonna take you off that most promising list. So we're really excited because I know Jamie will have them on most promising in no time at all. So Jamie, thank you so much for your hard work and your commitment. And I don't know if you want to say a few words.
No, I appreciate that, Doc. It is definitely very bittersweet. My family is extremely, we've had a fantastic 4 years here at Sonoma State in Northern California, but the pandemic has helped us realize that family is important. And so moving closer to my parents as they're getting older is something that we decided was important to us. But it's an exciting opportunity. So I'm excited. And what we've learned from Doc, if we just sit and listen to him, we take that forward with us in our career and we can continue to do fantastic things. And so I used Doc's mentorship. I used a lot of the things that we've talked about within our most promising places to work and student affairs ideology for my position. And I think people around the nation can see that it matters. And so continue to do the good work, but I am coming for that most promising. My goal is to be the Houston Rockets and stop that three-peat. And so y'all better be watching out because Wisconsin's coming.
Yay, way to go. Well, Jamie, we're so proud of you and congratulations to you. Also, I would like to announce that I have asked Dr. Jones to be the interim person over both CASE and SSA during that time period. Jamie, as official last day on campus will be June the 11th. Is that correct, Jamie?
That is correct, June 11th.
So then officially June the 12th, we will have Dr. Jones will be the interim senior director over that area. So I just wanted you all to be able to at least hear from Jamie and the excitement that we have for him and what he's doing. So Jamie, best of luck to you. We're always here for you, and we'll be waiting at the gate. We'll be waiting at the gate when you get there because we're gonna be holding on to our 3-peat shields just in case, just so you, so you don't forget.
Yeah, maybe I should take Channel Islands instead, right?
Take them out first. Anyway, thank you, LMP.
Sure thing. All right, we are at our time certain, and I believe Missy is here with us. I can't see her. Yay!
Hey, Missy.
So yeah, like I said, we invited Missy to come and share some updates about our repopulation. I hope that many of you have been able to attend the forums where we've been able to ask and answer more of the kind of frequently asked questions or just nuanced questions. But I believe we have some relevant updates about how we're reopening over the summer. And I asked Missy to just give us the most updated information, at least as of today, because we know it changes quite regularly, but we're forging ahead with a plan to reopen our campus and start to come back. So I will turn it over to Missy for a few quick updates, and then hopefully we'll have some time for questions.
Great, thank you so much. And thank you all for letting me come share information. It's always great to have the opportunity to hear questions and be able to share what we know. So first, I want to share that everything that I'm going to talk about right now is to a certain degree pending, because as you may know, we are still in meet and confer with our unions, and we want to make sure that that those folks have the chance to provide feedback and be part of the discussion. So what I'm talking about today are the things that we've been proposing. So first, I want to talk about just briefly that for those of you who don't live this every day like I do, we actually have a 5-phase return to campus program, and we are about to enter into phase 3. So some of you already have, maybe full-time work on campus or intermittent part-time work on campus. Those were all parts of phase 1 and 2. Phase 3 officially begins on June 7th, and I'll talk about the meaningfulness of that date in a moment. But I want to talk about quickly how those phases are defined. So phase 3 is defined as we're going to be increasing our administrative operations to be more efficient and, most importantly, to effectively support students, faculty, and staff, both working on campus and remotely. And at the same time as phase 3 is phase 4, where instruction is expanded to the extent that campus facilities will allow under current guidelines, and we will continue to observe physical distancing, and that's really our biggest limitation. The reason we have 2 different phases is that should our region or our campus experience an outbreak in the future, we can peel back phase 4, which is our on-campus instruction-based support. And we would likely attempt to keep, depending on severity of an outbreak, those administrative operations that are really gaining efficiency and making sure our students, because we're still going to have, as you guys know, well over 2,000 students on campus full time. We want to make sure to continue to support that population. So our pre-population group set a number of goals, some of which you're probably familiar with, which is around 50% or more of our campus classes being held on campus, at least for part of the instruction. And then a residential population close to a minimum of 2,000 students in order to support that unit, the culinary services that go with that. And we want to make sure that we have enough people on campus, again, to support the folks that are on campus. We are telling our students that campus is open. We want them to be able to have options to go places, interact with a person face-to-face, and start transitioning away from more of a full-time sort of Zoom interaction environment. One of our priorities is to resume in-person activities, programming, co-curricular opportunities for our students, bring back our athletics and our club and intramural sports. And then there's also a component about leadership. We want to make sure that our students, faculty, and staff are seeing our campus leaders around campus so that we're starting to resemble what we would have seen on campus back in February 2020. The next big list of the first question we always get is, well, when are things going to open? I'm going to run through. We do have a list of buildings and when they open, the first date being June 7th. That's, again, why this phase 3 begins on that date. On those dates, we'll see the opening of Nichols Hall, the PE building, and pre-collegiate programs, as well as our extended education facility, which has recently moved over to an off-campus site at Sonoma Mountain Village. During that time, our buildings that have had limited operations, including Darwin and Salazar, will open for any people who are approved to go back to work. And then there's no big openings until July 6th, and this is the one that impacts probably more of you. On July 6th, we will see our counseling, the CAPS building open, the Green Music Center, Schultz Information Center. I'm going to come back to and clarify something on that. The Student Center opens on July 6th as well. When we talk about the Schultz Information Center opening, that's not for library public use. That'll be for all of the academic and student affairs divisions that work within that space to begin resuming whatever their approved schedules are in person. As we move through July, the remainder of the academic buildings, the art building, Ives, music education building, Person Theater, and Wine Spectator Center will open. And holding up our last group is the Environmental Technology Center, International Hall, Rachel Carson Hall on August 2nd. So those are tentative dates again that we have proposed. And the other question I get is, well, why aren't they all opening at once? And that leads into my next topic of conversation, which is just talking about what are we doing to get buildings ready? And this is really super important. So as we go through each of these openings, we're visiting all of the buildings, both with our risk management facilities and EH&S teams, along with, in certain settings, members of those departments, to review kind of what operations are going to look like, who's coming back to work as we have those processes working through risk and HR. So we can determine, how are our interactions with students going to be conducted safely? How are employees going to be brought back to the workplace and have adequate physical distancing, partitions when needed, making sure we have all the sanitation supplies in place before everyone comes back to work. And then, because these buildings have been mostly closed, and I want to emphasize here, that doesn't mean they haven't been being paid attention to, right? They've opened on a bi-monthly basis. We've had employees in and out, and then we have critical infrastructure systems in all of our buildings. So facilities has been going through and keeping these areas, keeping the air flowing, keeping the lights on. But they are doing additional inspections of all the spaces to make sure the lights work, that you're not walking into cobwebs, that anything that leaks that may have occurred over the past 14 months are all being addressed. So a full cleaning will occur of all of the spaces. The one area that I will say that you should expect to do a self clean on is if you have a private office or private cubicle. You're probably going to want to wipe down your surfaces, do some basic housekeeping. Those offices will not be cleaned by our custodial team. But all the common areas, kitchenettes, restrooms, corridors, elevators, all of those will be thoroughly cleaned. Additionally, our custodial team has acquired and started use of 2 products called Imperial and Impact. And what they are is a fogged on material that can keep virus and bacteria from growing for 28 days. And those are being applied in all buildings every 4 weeks. And that application will be done just prior to the opening. And then we're also doing efficacy testing through our environmental health and safety department, where they'll actually go around and swab areas that have been treated with that solution to make sure that it's still effective, so that we can adjust our cleaning, whether it be our custodians who've been walking around this whole time, hitting doorknobs, elevator buttons, handrails, all those common touch spaces or common touch surfaces that we know are most likely to have more exposure. Last on building preparation, I want to talk about air handling. For those of you who don't know, what we've learned over the past, let's say, year and a half of COVID is that the concerns that we put very early on into surface sanitation, while important, we've learned that that's not the main way that COVID is transmitted. It's an aerosolized virus that's most likely transmitted through the air. So the best tool we have is our air handling system, or just being outdoors where air moves more freely anyway. At Sonoma State, we have recently, our facilities team did an assessment of all of the campus buildings and found that we meet or exceed the requirements in all of our buildings. We use what's called a MERV 14 filter that exceeds the HEPA type filter. CDC requires a 12 or 13. So again, we exceed that. CDC also wants to see 4 air exchanges per hour. Most of our buildings, we're seeing 8 to 12 air exchanges per hour. That means that the volume of air in the room is filtrated that number of times. And that's really probably one of the #1 reasons for the success that we've seen in the lack of transmission around campus. So those are some of the really important things that you're going to see. Speaking to sanitation supplies, in our classrooms, all the classrooms that are being used will have sanitizing wipe stations installed in the walls. They'll also, I'm sorry, not wipe, hand sanitizer. There'll be wipe stations throughout all the common corridors and all of our area workstations. The custodial will come through and frequently refill. One of the things we're assessing as we go through and do these worksite assessments is based on how many employees will be occupying those spaces at any given time. We want to make sure we have an adequate supply so folks aren't having to run all over the building looking for supplies, so that we really incentivize people keeping a nice clean workspace and keeping their hands clean. You will still continue to see some things for physical distancing. You'll see a lot of signage. You may see corridors that are separated right hand, left side, or you may just see signs that say, please keep to the right. Elevators have limited capacity, so you'll see those signs. You may see stairwells that are single directional, which can be a little confusing in the beginning. So just be patient with yourself and all of your colleagues as we figure out how to maneuver around buildings. And some of our more narrow corridor buildings will have an entry door and an exit door. So those are the things that you will see us working on. For those workstations, especially those that don't have taller partitions, you may see plexiglass going in, or you may see a request for reconfiguration of workstations. So having folks sit back to back versus face to face. But we'll work with all of your leadership on making sure your workstations are set up. The last thing I want to just point out is that I get a lot of requests for ordering of supplies and how do we get our sanitation supplies. Because this is such a big lift and we're doing so much across campus, we are telling departments at this point in time that all that type of purchasing will be done centrally. The reason for that is that we can buy in mass bulk. So we're buying by multiple pallets at a time, which allows us to get significant discounts. There's also very strict EPA and CDC rules about the type of sanitizing products that are appropriate in the workplace. And so centralized purchasing allows us to ensure that that's done and that it's compliant. Employees who bring their own sanitation supplies, let me back up. You cannot bring your own sanitizing wipes. If you choose to bring your own hand sanitizer, you are not permitted to share it with any other persons. And we highly discourage that. It's really, there's so many products that have come out over the past couple of years that we've learned don't meet the requirements or have actually caused allergic reactions and over drying and infections in people's hands. So we really encourage you to, if you're going to do that, make sure you're using a high quality product that meets all of those requirements. Same thing for partitions. Partitions will be installed where they're necessary and appropriate. We have had some requests for folks who have in excess of 6 feet physical distancing between workstations to install those type of devices, both for there's safety implications, there's financial implications, and there's equity implications. So we will be installing them where it's deemed appropriate under the current rules. If you or any of your colleagues feel that there's a space that was missed, we are happy to assess that. But we can't be doing it on a this is what I prefer basis. Additionally, things like personal, screens, folks will bring in those movable hinge screens. Those create problems for earthquake and fire compliance. Those will not be allowed. So just be thoughtful. If you have questions, concerns, we're absolutely here for making you feel comfortable coming back to work. But it is also really important that we're handling this equitably and only doing those things that are necessary to ensure the best use of our resources. So I'm happy to take questions. That's all I have kind of prepared for you guys at this time.
Hey, Missy, it's
Dr.
Elizabeth.
Amir.
Oh, sorry, Laura, did you want to go?
Oh, no, I was just letting Doc know he was on mute, but
Oops, sorry. I was thanking you, Missy. Thank you. I appreciate you being here. And also too, are there any questions?
Okay, now I'll go. So Missy, it's Elizabeth. Question for you with regards to this combined or new way of ordering, requesting like hand sanitizers or disinfectants. Where is that going through?
Great question. Best thing to do is just put in a work order. If something is empty or if you're requesting additional supplies, one thing we are trying to move away from is sort of having those like 16 or 12 ounce bottles at everyone's desk, just because it's not the most efficient way. It's hard to keep them, keep those supplied. So facilities has purchased dozens and dozens, probably actually hundreds of freestanding and wall mount sanitation units. And so there are some areas we recognize we're going to still need to supply personal units, but we would prefer to use those central things to help our custodial team out. And again, if you find a wipe dispenser empty, which hopefully never happens because they've been super on it, yes, just a work order is the best place.
Great, thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions?
I could really quickly, Greg, just speak to the process, if that would be helpful.
Please. Yeah, that'd be helpful.
So for those of you that aren't aware, we asked supervisors over the past month or so to submit not only kind of preferred schedules, but work site, preference. So working on campus, working off campus, or mostly in a hybrid mode is what we're seeing. So we're currently evaluating those between HR and risk. We're evaluating those to make sure that the designations were made equitably between, especially for represented members. We're making sure there's adequate supervision on ground for all the folks that are working in person. And then we're working with leadership to make sure that the provision of people we have on campus will meet all of our service needs. So making sure we have backup plans for service desks, for example, and things like that. And then our IT department is working hard to identify suitable technology for all of our, especially hybrid workers, is obviously the most challenging. So you should be hearing in the next couple of weeks back from your managers about your approximate return to work date. One point I want to clarify, because we say July 6th for the Student Center, I know that affects more of you than not. And for Schultz, That doesn't necessarily mean July 6th. We can only bring about 10 employees back per day to ensure we have enough IT support and enough Uber support to make sure that we're able to cover all of the needs. So you may be given a date on the 8th or the 12th, somewhere within that time frame, and we'll work with department leadership to make sure we prioritize returns based on an operational basis. And then again, IT support will be available. You may be asked to switch a computer around. You may be asked to share a work site with another employee because you have a hybrid if we don't have enough laptops to send folks back and forth. And there will also be movers available. I know a lot of folks have brought home heavy items, or over time, like myself, have accumulated more and more materials from your office. So things like office chairs, sit stand, modulars, or sit stand desks. We are asking folks to use our moving service for that, so we don't see any back injuries or other types of things that may occur. So you should get a lot of information. There'll be a return to work packet that will include things like when are dining facilities open and which ones are going to be open, and where are their vending machines, what's going to be open to me, as well as a lot of our COVID safety protocols, how to report COVID cases, how to report COVID safety violations. And then we'll also be asking some of you folks who maybe historically have served in the role of emergency and safety marshals to help us support those COVID safety practices by monitoring department activities and notifying risk management if we have deficiencies and you see risks or unsafe things happening around your department. So much more to come probably in the next 2 to 3 weeks. So very exciting. It's moving along.
Yeah, Mo.
Hey, Missy, thanks for being here today. So from a programmatic standpoint, I know that we're all working on different plans, whether it's small meetings for students or whether it's ourselves or bigger events and things. To this point, this last year, we've been kind of going through you and sending you to plan first. Well, in my world anyways, is that going to shift? Are we going to just be turning in the reservations to, as I'm thinking of planning now events, are we just turning in the reservations now to conference events and catering, and then they'll work with you on things, or should we still connect with you first? Or is it a hybrid?
Great question. For the most part, what I'll say is that folks should just put a Rufus in. If you're planning an event for the fall, now just, be patient when it comes to the fall. Really anything between now and June, like 15th, this magical date the governor says we may just open. There's so much changing, but looking at fall, we're using our best estimates. We have some matrix that we've developed, the process in CES, you turn a Rufus in, they then goes through a risk assessment, and risk management does review it right up front to make sure that, one, we can consider the event if it's just something that's so crazy we just can't do it, which I really can't imagine. Our goal is to make whatever we want to do happen. Or if we know we need to bring in our partners in public health, or we know we have to do some safety mitigation, we'll work with you on that for sure. But start with the Rufus from here on out. Or if you have something really big you want to consider, that might be the time to set up a quick chat with risk so we can let you know. We don't want to see folks invest too much time if something is just outright going to be prohibited or we don't have the resources, et cetera. But for 99% of, I think, what you guys want to do, conferences and events is prepared to handle that at this point.
Thanks.
Any other questions for Missy?
Andre has his hand up.
Okay, Andre?
Thank you very much. Mitzi, I understand the highest transmission was determined through air. You said the air transmission. And knowing that we have a rating, or should I say the MERV 14 filters that are above the CDC ratings, but in some of the smaller corridors, once we enter the building in some of the smaller corridors, and I'm just trying to understand when you're saying the equitable evaluation of like use of partitions. And I'm asking this question because, clearly within the Division of Student Affairs, as opposed to AF, there's a higher face-to-face or person-to-person contact. So I would just want to understand, when you were saying the evaluation of these partitions or use of partitions.
Yeah, that's a great question. And I'll give an example. We actually met with Michael's team and advising on Friday, and the rest case and everybody else. And that was a great example over advising of where we recognize that, students and the advisors need to be in closer contacts. Having them shove 6 feet across the room wasn't going to work. So we've come up with a plan for removable partitions that can be placed when the student is there and removed when the student is not. So we're really looking to customize what the need is based on those individual operations. We do the same thing in the case department, looking at some of those small offices that are used for student counseling. We want to make sure that we can facilitate that. So again, the removable partitions were deemed to be the best option that would allow placement. And it's the same thing over in Lark for the, for tutoring and things. So folks can be close, but still have that physical separation. So our goal is just to make sure that whatever your need is, especially when it comes to student face-to-face contact, that's the #1 priority. Things like employees where, if we can do meetings in larger rooms, still using Zoom. We are setting up all campus workstations with Zoom capability, meaning a web camera, and for folks who work in cubicles or in shared offices, headsets, to make sure we can continue using Zoom when it's the most efficient way. But again, we're really prioritizing, we're hearing from you guys that need to have that student face-to-face contact is critical. And knowing we can now have, especially in our surge spaces and small offices, we will work with you guys on those partitions as needed. And these roll-away options seem to be really promising for your guys' team. Does that answer your question, Andre?
Yeah, actually it does. I appreciate the reference to it and clarity. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Shelby has her hand up. Or is it Jamie? Okay, hey, Jamie.
From advising, but you answered it. I was curious about kind of individual offices and meeting with students because I'm in advising. So that was really helpful. So I'm good. Thanks.
Absolutely.
Thanks, Jamie. I'm monitoring for hands. Anyone else that has a hand up that I'm missing?
And while you're doing that, I just found one more note I forgot to mention. Get a lot of questions about face coverings. Face coverings
Okay.
are required. They're required indoors and outdoors until commencement. We do expect to lift some of the outdoor requirements after commencement. We just want to get through the next 2 weekends, which are public events, which do require them anyway. But as far as we know, moving into the fall, moving into the summer, face coverings will be required inside of offices and buildings. So just something, another kind of layer to protect our staff and our students, and something we should all be prepared for.
Great, thanks, Missy. In fact, we've all heard questions about the mask, so I'm glad you brought that
Very
up.
confusing. The guidance is changing so fast. So just always, if you're unsure, ask, or check the website. We are working on a return to campus website as well. They'll have a lot of these FAQs. As we get things approved, we'll keep rolling it out there and make sure that folks have access to information.
And
I have a
as
question.
Missy, oh, go ahead.
So Missy, what's the expectation for the area coordinators in housing and residence life? Because our offices are both small and some of them are in our own like individual apartments.
That's a great question. I think probably the best thing for us to do would be to meet with your team so that we can assess those spaces and determine if that's, presumably still the best way to have those meetings. But we're also happy to set up safe areas within your residence/office to make those meetings happen if that's critical, which I presume that it is. So maybe is Stacey Murray on this call?
No.
Okay, maybe Ryan, can you connect with Stacey and have her set something up for a little half-hour chat, and then we'll set up an on-site meeting. Our team is on campus once a week. So that's a great question, Annie, and we would love to come. I've never seen the spaces, so take a look at them and hear more from you and your team about how you guys use those spaces so we can set them up.
Thank you.
Yes, thanks, Annie. Any other questions or thoughts for Missy? I'm seeing one. Oh, Susan Polito, do you want to go ahead?
I just was saying that where my space is in a housing village, it would make sense for me to also be included in that conversation with housing folks.
Sure, I think it's a great idea, Susan, and you and Laura may want to connect too, because you have a lot of the same considerations about some of the conversations that you guys have that are more difficult and the best way to facilitate that safely. So I would be happy to, we'll hit that whole kind of residential area. So I'll make sure that that's included.
Thanks so much, Missy.
Absolutely.
Excellent. Any others? Missy, not seeing any other hands. Just want to say thank you so much for being with us and appreciate the knowledge. It's been extremely informative. So, and thank you for you and your team. Mo already put it in there, but I know I speak for all of us. Thank you for the hard work. You all have done a yeoman's task of trying to pull all this stuff together for the entire campus. So we really appreciate you. So thank you.
Very much our pleasure. Thank you everyone for the time today, and don't hesitate to reach out if you have any more questions. Bye.
Good. Take care, Missy.
Thanks so much.
Bye-bye. All right, LMP, back to
Right.
you.
Yeah, let's get back into our announcements. I'm glad we were able to make good use of Missy's time and hopefully got some important questions answered. As always, probably more to come. But trying to keep folks in the loop as we, as we progress to coming back to campus. Speaking of coming back to campus, this next week, I think we're on the commencement announcements. You go back a couple. We have, so this next week, this weekend, actually, we have our first of 2 weekends of commencement ceremonies. May 15th, we'll be celebrating our class of 2020 with a drive-through and virtual ceremony. And then May 22nd and 23rd, we'll be celebrating the class of 2021. You should have received an email from the commencement committee, not HR, asking MPPs to all sign up for at least 2 shifts. We do anticipate having about 1,500 of the 4,900 graduates from the classes of 2020 and 2021 participating. And so obviously having some help to facilitate the flow of traffic and helping folks wayfind. There's a lot of coordinating to be done to make sure that it goes smoothly. And so your support is greatly needed and welcome. The drive-through ceremony is part of the ceremony, but it will also be streamed online, both on Facebook and the Sonoma State webpage. So, so if you have folks ask about it and they're not able to come, but they want to view or see the ceremony, they'll be able to watch it online. We won't have any live audience, but each graduate will have an opportunity to walk across the stage and receive their diploma cover, essentially, right? And take some photos. So we're very excited about that. And the next couple of weeks will be a little more lively on campus for those of us who have been on campus lately. So that is all I have about our commencement plans. Now we can skip back ahead to some of our division announcements. We have a new, new to this role, individual joining us, Andrea Chambers, welcome. She is going to be serving as our interim Seawolf Scholars Coordinator. Andrea was previously served as a director of outreach services for Upward Bound here at Sonoma State, and she's currently a PhD candidate at Michigan State University. So Andrea, we are happy to have you with us. Even if it's just for a short time. I think our Seawolf scholars are probably very appreciative to have you with us as well. You can go to the next slide. We have a new Seawolf in our community. Congratulations to Becky, who delivered a healthy baby, Lillian Alexandra Sandoval, on April 26th. Becky is in our Career Center. And I don't know if she's with us today, but I hope she is healing and being well taken care of. Becky and the baby, but Becky as well. And then let's see here, we have a retirement announcement. Carrie Jo Warrens is going to be retiring in June. She has celebrated 17 years at Sonoma State with us. And Carrie, we're going to miss you quite a bit. Retirements are always bittersweet as well. Very happy for you to be able to start this next chapter in your life. I am going to turn it over to Jamie quickly to share some information about our re-enrollment, and then I will hop back on. Jamie, I'll let you take it away.
Perfect. Thanks, Laura. We have all been working feverishly for the past month trying to get our students to re-enroll. And we're excited to announce that we hit a milestone on Monday where we hit 90% of our current students re-enrolled. And so that's super exciting. We always set a goal of around 95% for that. So we've still got some work left to do to get to that. I think there's about 230, 240 left to get to that 95%. But we're continuing to make progress. We're continuing to get between 5 to 10 students to register per day, but it's getting to the point where it's really working with each individual student to identify barriers that have stopped them from being able to register for the past month. Other really positive news, Doc and I were talking about this last week. It's fantastic that we have institutionalized 15 to finish, as 60% of our students on campus are at 15 plus units. And so 60% of our students are making progress to graduate on time, which is absolutely fantastic for GI 2025, but also for them and their finances. So really excited about where we are with this, and I'll turn it back to you, Laura.
Awesome. Thank you, Jamie. I'm super excited about these re-enrollment numbers, and thanks everyone for your hard work and working with each individual student to help them figure out how to get, their schedule for next year and figure out what life is going to look like for the fall. I know it has been no easy task for our students and for our advisors to help folks navigate this kind of new normal when it comes to registering for classes. All right, and then we can move into a housing update. So May 1st was our deadline for students to apply to live on campus for next year and receive the housing incentive. We did extend the deadline to the 7th. And as of yesterday, we had 2,135 students who were planning to live on campus for next year. That's 1,193 of our current Sonoma State students coming to live on campus next year. We have 628 of our first-time first-year students and 314 of our first-time transfer students. So very excited to welcome our students back to campus. I know that folks are already starting to plan to think about what a return to campus is going to look like for our current Sonoma State students who maybe haven't lived on campus, but have been students for the past year or two, or maybe even 3, and helping students think about adjusting to come back. We just went ahead and put the comparative numbers on here for you, although it's not quite apples to apples, because as you can imagine, we haven't typically had quite so many returning students coming to live back on campus. And last year's numbers, I believe, were pre-pandemic. So, we've got some interesting comparisons here. Nonetheless, 2135 is beyond what we had hoped to achieve with our incentive plan. So very excited. And yes, Ryan, the priority deadline has passed to guarantee housing, but we are still open to receiving applications. Students can apply to live on campus really at any time of the year, and will be accommodated as much as they're able. If we don't have openings for students at the time, they will be moved onto the wait list. Our incentives still on the table. I would say technically no, incentives are not still on the table, but we will continue to reevaluate whether or not we can offer incentives to students who sign up past this May 7th deadline. But I would say no for now. And then we'll give them the good news if we can do that later on. Have students been notified that they have been accepted to live on campus? I believe that students will be getting their housing assignments over the summer. I don't know if Liz wants to chime in with the specifics of if they've been notified that they've been accepted to live on campus. I guess I don't know what that particular phrasing, if that's true or not.
No, thanks, Laura. So per the application timeline on our website and all the confirmation emails that have been sent to the students, we've let them know that we are able to house them and that we'll be contracting with them and asking for their room type preference mid-May. And so we're hoping to get that out by Friday of this week. And then, like you were saying, Laura, yes, room assignments, the actual physical room assignment and housemate information and mailing address and all that fun, exciting stuff will come to the students to their Sonoma State email address mid-July, if not sooner, but mid-July.
Awesome. Thank you, Liz. Thanks, Kayla, for the question, Mo, for the questions. And then I think we can move to the next slide, Sue. We've got some service milestones to recognize. Congratulations to all of you for having another year anniversary. Jessica celebrating 1 year. We had a number of folks, Ying celebrating 2 years. And then we had a number of folks who are celebrating 3 years, and Carolyn who's celebrating 8 years on the 15th. So thanks for sticking with us, folks. We're happy to celebrate your anniversaries and grateful to have you here. Okay, we can move to the conference presentations. This is my favorite name for a conference I have ever heard. Ben Ellis, who is our student conduct coordinator, and Steve McDonald, who works with our alcohol and drug prevention education, presented at the Bay Area Conduct Officers Network, also known as the BACON Conference. And Ben was also the BACON Conference coordinator and led a team of 7 members in planning the conference. So Ben, thank you for your contributions to the field and for taking on that BACON Conference. I love all of the bacon jokes coming through in the chat. That's just amazing. I hope that there's lots and lots of bacon served at that conference.
When we go live, we'll have bacon.
You didn't like deliver bacon to everybody's home?
No,
or
not this time.
Not this time. Budget didn't allow it, I'm sure. Awesome. Well, congratulations for the conference presentation and for your leadership. I'm gonna move to our next slide. We've got a lot of folks graduating from graduate programs this year. We will also probably be recognizing you in some way, shape, or form during our celebration of excellence, but it bears repeating multiple times because we are so proud of you. We have a number of folks graduating with masters. Derek Bradley is going to be graduating with his MA in Higher Educational Leadership from Sac State. Ashley Dates is finishing her MA in Education from Sonoma State. Veronica Gonzalez, her MS in Counseling from SF State. Mindell Murray finishing his MBA from the University of Bridgeport. And there's more. Yadira Sanchez finishing her MA in Organization and Development from APU, and Audra, who we have recognized in the past, is also officially graduating with her PhD in East-West Psychology from the California Institute of Integral Studies. So congratulations to all of you. But even more than congratulations, thank you for continuing to pursue, your own knowledge and doing it in ways that are evident just by the titles of the degrees that you're going to be finishing. It's evident that that's contributing to the work that we're doing in student affairs. So thank you so much for all of your intellectual curiosity and intellectual pursuits, and for working while doing that, because that is no small accomplishment. And congratulations to all of you. Okay, I am going to try to provide you all with a quick overview of all of our student recognitions and celebrations coming up as we close out the year. Our NOMA Presidential Student Leadership Awards, which you should have received invitation to nominate is coming up. I don't see the date on here. Sue, what's the date of this one? Or Doc?
It's May 14th.
May
at 5
14th.
o'clock.
Okay, May 14th at, sorry, 5 o'clock?
5 o'clock.
Okay, May 14th at 5 o'clock. We'll be recognizing our NOMA Outstanding Leader, our Seawolf Commitment Awards, and our Rising Star Awards. Again, these are student leadership awards, not to be confused with our Celebration of Excellence Awards, where we will be recognizing staff and colleagues. Okay, we can move to the next slide. We have a number of cultural graduation celebrations. The Asian Pacific Islander Middle Eastern celebration is scheduled for May 14th at 6 p.m. We went ahead and put the contact information on there so you know who to follow up with if you have specific questions. We have our Black graduation celebration scheduled for May 21st at 6 p.m. Can contact Erica if you have questions about that one. Our Rainbow grad is scheduled for Thursday, May 20th at 6 p.m. You can contact Marissa. The Rasa celebration, Wednesday, May 19th at 6 p.m. You can contact Maricela if you have questions about that. I can see that folks are putting information in the chat. Thank you. That's wonderful. And then we have a number of DSA Affinity graduation celebrations coming up. Our Maverick or Military Veterans celebration is scheduled for May 18th from 5:30 to 7. DSS already actually had their celebration on April 29th, and EOP and Seawolf Scholars had their celebration on May 6th, and the Dream Center had theirs on May 7th. So those have come and gone, and like Doc was saying at the beginning, lots of tears, lots of smiles. So, you know, the best part of this time of year, but the hardest part of this time of year is saying goodbye. Okay, and then we have a continuation of our Affinity graduation celebrations. We have our Toast of the Town scheduled for the class of 2020 is tomorrow, May 12th. The class of 2021's Toast of the Town is scheduled for Wednesday, May 19th at 4:30 p.m. And Mo is our contact for the Toast of the Town. And then our Trio SSS graduation ceremony looks like they're doing a video and website spotlights for their graduating students, and then a drive-through cord pickup during commencement weekend with a Trio backdrop for photo ops. So they took a slightly different approach. Sounds cool though. They'll be getting cords and they can take pictures. Hopefully they'll tag us so we can see them. Okay, going through the list here, and last but not least, we have our Celebration of Excellence Awards. A reminder scheduled for Friday, May 28th from 3:30 to 5 p.m. We will be recognizing a number of folks across the division. As you all know, we asked for nominations, and we are selecting the recipients of those awards. We're asking folks to dress for the occasion. You interpret that however you want. I may still wear sweatpants on the bottom, but I might put some earrings on and maybe some lipstick. We'll see. And then we're encouraging folks to enjoy your self-supplied appetizers and favorite beverage. And bring your entire household. This is a celebration for all of us. And the Zoom link will be to come. So hope you all can join us. We know it's the Friday before holiday weekend. So hopefully you can hop in just for a bit, celebrate everybody, recognize all that we've accomplished, and then have that usher you into a beautiful holiday weekend. We should change the time to what? Oh, the theme, lipstick and sweatpants. Let's do it. All right, and then, related to that, because we do have a big event that week, we have decided to cancel our last fireside check-in due to the celebration of excellence. So unfortunately, we will not have 2 times that week to enjoy each other's company, but we look forward to seeing you on the 28th. And then I believe that concludes my announcement. So I will turn it back over to Dr. Sawyer for some closing remarks.
Great, thank you. I do want to say that we have got a lot of stuff going on, and in spite of this pandemic, we continue to serve our students in multiple ways. So hopefully as many of the celebrations as you can attend, please show. I think that you will be so excited to see the students. And just to see and hear them talk about the impact that you've had on them since they've been at the institution. I did also have another bittersweet announcement. One of our colleagues who certainly has been instrumental on our campus in a number of ways, Miss Cookie Garrett, will be leaving us, but staying in the CSU as the program specialist for the Sankofa program at Cal State East Bay. She begins July 1st. We're really excited for Cookie. I'm also very excited too for East Bay. The one thing about being in my role as being a person that individuals often call for references, I get so excited in a way because so many of you are so talented. You all have that ability. And when other folks call me and ask me, is it true that they're that good? And I get to say, yeah, they're really that good, probably better than what you're seeing on paper and in the interview. So as we continue to grow in our reputation at Sonoma, it's going to happen. And I'm happy for all of you that have decided that there's that next step. But I just need to let you know that Cookie's first day will be July the 1st. Cook, we will miss you. You all probably know this, but when I first came 3 years ago, we started looking at trying to pull together the faculty staff affinity groups. And when we first met for the Black faculty and staff, I was told that they could not provide the names of African-American faculty and staff. And so I said, I just need 2 people, we'll find the rest. And it happened from there. I do want to say that Cookie took on the lead early on. I always share with her that when I saw her come in the room, I said, I already know who's going to be the first co-chair was going to be Cookie. So Cookie, thank you for your leadership with the Black Faculty Staff Association. Thank you for your leadership for the also to our BSU, and also to thank you for your leadership in Vibes. And I can go on with the emoji queens. You really have helped our campus to step up and be a better version of ourselves. So we will miss you, but you're right down the road. So we'll be in contact, and I know a lot of your colleagues there. So we'll definitely be keep in touch. The other thing too, so we'll give, thanks, Doug. The only other thing that I wanted to say is that as I started, thank you all for everything. Hopefully that you will be able to join us on May the 28th. We will be recognizing our staff for the wonderful work that you have done throughout the last year. And as I said, maybe the 15 or 16 months that have gone into this past year. But we want to be able to have all family and show up as you please. Just make sure that it's not X-rated, but other than that, show up. But we are, well, when people say show up as you feel like appropriate, I'm thinking, yeah, I'm not sure. We all may have a different version of what appropriate is. So I do look forward to seeing all of you there, and hopefully we'll be able to be in the company also of your family. And we know it's Friday, so we're going to try to get you out of there as soon as possible. But I thought it would be a wonderful opportunity for us to be able to recognize each other and say thank you for the work that you've done. So the gift of time is a wonderful gift. So let me gift you back 50 minutes. Thank you all for all that you do, and have a wonderful and blessed day. Bye-bye.